Got you a little 5 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. We'll call to order the Knox County Juvenile Service Center Board of Directors meeting on February 5th, 2026. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Ross? Commissioner Jackson? Commissioner Hill? Here. Commissioner Lee? Here. Commissioner Jay?
Here.
Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll go to the approval of minutes. Is there a motion? By Commissioner Jackson, second by Commissioner Hill. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. I have no one informed of showing up for public forum or speaking at public forum that I'm aware of, unless there is anyone in the audience. Seeing no eyeballs looking at me that way, we'll move on to Ms. Lively. If you would please give us your operational report. How's it going?
Let's go. Hi, Megan Lively. Right now we have 4 open officer positions. We are doing the interviews on those. We have a facility assistant position open, and that is due to a promotion that we got changed over into a facilities manager that is over our kitchen and laundry now. So we did that promotion, and now we have 1 vacancy to fill in there. We still have 1 on a leave of absence until March. We have 3 more on intermittent FMLA. We have 2 corporals that we've just placed. They're in training this week. We had 4 other officers that started in training this week as well. So that's great basic.
Well, while they haven't come on board after being fully trained, I mean, is it starting to alleviate a little of the pressure?
Absolutely. So we're starting to see a dip in that overtime, and we're not hitting that overtime so much. And also, it's relieving some of the shift pressure, so it's wonderful. Then they finalized the policy, we shared that the last time, but they completed all shift training. So they came in for all the shifts to minimize that overtime. They came in middle of the night to train them on shifts so that we could power through that. And so everybody is signed off on all of the new policies, all of the standards for DCS, things like that that have been missing for a little bit. We have a licensing visit on the 23rd that we just finalized today, so they'll be out on the 23rd. Oh, he's sharing with me that DCS just approved this, so here's our
good.
notification.
Okay, so just to clarify, the facility has not been approved and licensed by the Department of Children's Services for 3 years, and that just came in like
2 minutes.
2 minutes ago. Okay, good. Because I've been asking Mr. Anderson, like, when would that happen?
Yeah.
They're still going to come visit on the 23rd, but
Yes, so they said that was going to be part of the approval, but we just got that, so that's great.
Can you send that to me and I'll forward it to the board? Congratulations.
Yeah, that's very exciting for us. They're still working through some of the closed spots right now to enhance the building throughout there. Some of our paint was chipping, things like that. They're working through all of those areas. For the CTAS report, there's 81 completed items and 15 still in progress. We moved 11 more to the completed, and there's a little blurb about the ones that we moved to completion. And then the 15 that are in progress, they're kind of listed down below. Most of those are waiting on budget constraints that we anticipate to be alleviated very soon. The other things that just wanted to touch on some things that the facility administrative team has done. They have cleaned up and repaired the non-contact visitation rooms, did the out-of-bounds areas on the floors, established the secure perimeter, implemented training, like I said, on all shifts. They've also created a non-voluntary form that DCS liked so much that they've adapted it into their own. So, and then we got the tool control handled in the kitchen and phones in every pod for head counts and security.
Well, congratulations, and especially moving more items off of the CTAS recommendation. And then one item related to the capital needs, just everybody's probably heard the news. In the governor's budget, he has allocated $20 million to juvenile justice facilities in West and East Tennessee. We are at the east side of that west-east, but we don't have the specific details and all of the parameters about exactly what it would go for and how it would come, but I know that was part of Mayor Jacobs and the administrative team going and talking to them about the capital needs that are here for security, and so we're anticipating that that would be helpful to get our security system fast-tracked, as well as some of the other perimeter fencing and capital needs, so that's good news as well.
That is just for CapEx.
My understanding is it's just for CapEx right now, and there may be other items to talk about in the future. Any other questions for the facilities team or operations team? Okay, we're going to move on to our next item. I wanted to introduce to you, this is, I believe, up on digital form. I know it's been submitted for the February commission meeting, but since it was passed out of here on from our committee and sent to the law department, I wanted to show you all the first look at the ordinance that will go to the county commission meeting on first reading this month. This is what you all passed out of here. Just a quick overview of it. It's the ordinance that basically replaces all the other ordinances before us that we had worked on that originally went to the sheriff and came out of operational control by the former superintendent, and now puts the governance and operating model under the juvenile court judge beginning April 1st. It also creates a new advisory board to help with oversight and continued communication. It breaks down the sections of the code and the Tennessee law that it all falls under, and then it basically grants the authority to the juvenile court judge to do all managing, operations, staffing, work with our human resources department, continue to work with the Department of Children's Services, Commission on Children and Youth, and puts all the operational oversight with the help of Knox County under the juvenile court judge beginning April 1st. And then it puts in place a new advisory board to begin in July. That will compose of 7 members, 2 of which are appointees by the Knox County mayor, 1 of which is Knox County Health Department representative, 1 citizen of Knox County who's not an employee, 1 that has expertise in mental health, 1 that has expertise in juvenile social services, 1 who has expertise in juvenile legal, and then a regular ordinary citizen who's not an employee, and then 1 commissioner appointed by the chair of the commission. Basically, all those terms would be 3 years, except for the mayor, and the commission would be 2, and it kind of gives a breakdown of how those meetings will be placed. Those meetings will be quarterly. They'll remain open to the public and publicly noticed. Again, we want to continue to provide as much transparency and oversight, and that's the ordinance. So pretty simple, but want to make sure you all get a chance to see it. We can talk about it here because this is a public notice meeting.
Yeah, I just have one concern about the county commissioner, that should be appointed by the commission and not just the commission chair.
Knox County Commissioner appointed by the commission as a body instead of the chair.
Yes.
Anybody have any opinions for that? One way or the other?
I tend to trust our chair, but if that's the feeling of the body.
Do you have a particular reason why that, the chair has all kinds of commission appointments.
Right. Well, I just think this is a very vital, important position, and it should be by the commission as a whole.
Additional thoughts on that? It's something I would have to actually change in the language, so I need to have discussion and a vote.
So the mayor's appointing 2, the commission's appointing, commission chair 1 is appointing 1.
Correct.
And the other 4 are my appointments.
Correct.
Right.
What are the other boards that the chair appoints? Do you have an idea of that?
Yeah, one is the Industrial Development Board. One is the Industrial Development Board. One is the, I think there's 4.
I have my notes in front of me, I can tell you.
I'm trying to remember, we've
Yeah.
both been chair before. Give me 1 second, I could probably figure that out.
One person on here, just, my concern is a partisan fight over being on the distrust.
Clearly, that partisan concern did not occur with this board appointments.
The chair. The Economic Council, the ones that are the Investment Committee,
That's right.
the Chambers Economic Development Council, Knoxville Community Media, Knoxville Education Foundation, Personnel Committee, and TCCA and TPO. So there's several. Okay. Any other further discussion on that one particular line item?
One other thing, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
This is a different subject.
Oh, okay. To this subject. We don't, we dictated juvenile health, someone who is juvenile health specific, juvenile court specific, or legal. And then the one appointed by commission chair or commissioner or commission chair, should they come with an expertise?
I don't think it's, the intention is to always have somebody from the legislative body here participating so that we don't have a situation in which nobody knew what was going on and, there was constant oversight.
Okay.
We are setting this ordinance to establish it with the juvenile court judge. A future commission could, if for some reason it went south, a future commission could change this ordinance to put it back under a different model altogether. So it always leaves one legislative representative to be at the table. And usually the chair looks at how long has the commissioner, been on commission, what experience do they have, when is their term, because you wouldn't want to appoint somebody for a year and have them roll off, or usually sort of length of the term. And then obviously the interests of every commissioner has different interests in what things they're interested in. So that's usually how I would approach it.
And I believe that person too was also going to be responsible for making whatever the commission wants, yearly reports,
Okay.
quarterly reports, just to be sure that we are all kept in the loop on it.
So a liaison, if you will, to the rest of the body.
All right.
Other thoughts on that one change? You'll have to make a motion to want to change it, and we'll get a second, and then we'll vote on it, because I'm now changing.
Motion.
Okay. Motion by Lee, is there a second to make the change to make that by all of the commission versus the chair? Okay, that dies for lack of a second, so we'll leave it as is for now. That can still be changed, of course, in the final wording when we go to the commission as a whole. Are there any other thoughts on the ordinance as a whole?
If I may.
Sure.
And I really have no opinion one way or the other. I'm just, because I do not ever believe that our current judge or future judges we will ever run into such a mess again. Right now, the makeup of the board is actually theoretically still controlled, or not still, is controlled by whoever the juvenile court judge is. It's a 4-3 split. Are we comfortable with that? Do we think that should be flipped? I'm just asking.
I don't know if this is a governance board or it's an advisory board.
It's purely an advisory board, which is why I'm comfortable with it, because it's meant to be part of the overall system, but it's not a governing board that has the ability to, change personnel decisions and that kind of stuff. So that's what that, it gives everybody a seat at the table, but it doesn't have the ability to, he can't control the board, which controls the system. Ultimately, if we have proper oversight of both the state and the county commission, then if anything were to go wrong in the future, the commission could pull this ordinance back and say, you're not running it well, we want to go somewhere else.
And I don't disagree with that at all, I was just putting that out there.
I mean, in theory, if, you know, the judge who was in place did something that everybody disagreed with, you could vote to censure, but the judge still has to approve to do it.
Yeah.
Well, and also if it happened to be that the city commissioner were strongly opposed to whatever, they in fact bring it back to the commission.
Sure. I think it's a good balance, and we put a lot of faith in our judges to move things in the right direction.
But delegate at some point.
All right, any other thoughts on this ordinance before we move on? I'm not asking, we've already voted on this to go to commission, this is before commission. We'll have a separate debate, it'll be on 2 readings, so February will be the first reading, and we'll have a debate. If it proceeds and gets approved, it'll go to next reading. March, if it's approved in March, then it would take effect April 1st, and the passing of this ordinance would essentially dissolve this board, and we would finish our work. So that's the current timeline it's on. So, okay. Next item on our agenda, you have a page in front of you that looks like so. And this is, we have two bits of homework to do before this board concludes its work. The first one of those is to recommend to the judge people that we feel would be good board members for those those 4 positions outlined at the top. So at the next board meeting, which is March 17th, that would be our, if things passed as proceeded, that would be potentially our last meeting as this board. We're tasked with all of us bringing recommendations. So throughout this whole process, we've been at this since July. I'm positive that every single one of us at this table has been contacted by multiple people in the community wanting to help in different various forms and lean in and be supportive. And so, at the March 17th board meeting, it's our job, if you wish to bring those recommendations with a cover letter. You're doing your own call to action to go out and find people that might want to serve in one of those 4 buckets and bring those to the table. Now, the judge may have other people as well that we may be considering. We've tasked ourselves with bringing as many people to the table as possible, and I think we may have some overlap with people we know. So those other 3 representatives, of course, would be as outlined, but the board, just the little notes below, when you're asking people if they would like to serve as a board member or be considered, it will convene after July 1st, they'll meet quarterly, and they could serve up to a 3-year term, but they may be short, depending on how we stagger things. So I imagine that all of you know somebody in one of those top 4 buckets, and basically bring them to the table. You have one shot to do that, and you can send it to me electronically and I'll print it for you, or you can print it and bring it with you. But
I've also had a couple of inquiries from people
already. Great. Well, the good thing is that everybody from this community is leaning in and saying, how can I help? And I know we've heard from lawyers, we've heard from mental health specialists, we've heard from people in every kind of social services, and just, people that care. So I'm excited. So. Any questions about that task? Okay. The last thing on our agenda, I did say this would be a quick meeting, is that we will also deliver a set of bylaws for that board. Again, this is kind of our last bit of homework. And I don't have those finalized for you today, but I did want you to know that recently our audit department actually did an audit of all of the various boards and committees to see what kind of governance they had. So they had a slew of different ones to choose from, and I asked them, would you give us one that best kind of closely matches this type of advisory board? And so they've given me an example. It actually comes from PBA, or the Planning Commission. that has their own bylaws, and so I'm just in the process of going through it and sort of ticking out, like, this doesn't apply, this applies, and making it very generic. If you guys want to join me in this endeavor, then let me know. We can, reading bylaws is not the most exciting thing, but it is a process. So I'm working on that, and I hope to have a finished copy for you to look at.
One thing I want to have.
Well, I have two, no, but we don't need to recreate the wheel,
No,
which is what
I
you're
think
not
David
doing
and I could
there,
probably
so
go have
that's
coffee
good.
and figure this out.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to see in the bylaws.
Yeah.
Is just that whoever the commissioner is on the advisory board reports annually to the commission, which they can delegate however they want to do it. But it's got to report.
All right, we can add that. Other than that, the floor is open for any further discussion. We are nearing the end of our task duties and our transition. And I just want to thank Judge Irwin and Judge Irwin's entire team, everybody at the staff level and operational level, just the tremendous work that's been done over 8 months and the ability to transition this thing in a way that's positive, and I appreciate it. Floor is open for any other further discussion. Pretty much it.
I'd like to make a couple of comments. Initially, I've learned a couple of things I think I'd like to share, is that I'm developing confidence in the people that are leading the detention now, working real closely with them. I've assigned the administrators on my staff different responsibilities. Director Garrett helped with the budget. Director Lindsay helps in the day-to-day intake and preparation. Terry Brown, the director, is going to be taking weekend calls and doing the weekend emergency stuff. And then we've also signed our computer tech has been over a fair amount of time, making sure that the communication's good, that everybody's up on the Quest system. So my staff has really pitched in. We've asked for just a little bit of extra money on the juvenile court side to compensate them for new responsibilities, not a lot, but that's the way we're gonna approach it, man. I can't divide myself into 20 pieces and be everywhere at once, but I got some trusted lieutenants in detention. I'm gaining trust in them, I'm learning who they are, and also on my side, I have some people that I trust, and I think we'll be able to manage things. So I'm excited. I do have one perplexing riddle. I think anybody that's familiar with budgets and numbers can maybe help me solve this riddle. How much does it cost to house a child per day? And here's the factors that have to go into that equation. It's a very difficult problem. You think it'd be straightforward, it's not. Because of the ratios that are set, you might add one child and cause you to have an extra employee. One child may not be any extra employee cost, depending on how many you have. You gotta account for the kids that stay there 4 hours. You gotta account for the kids that stay there 9 months. Everybody gets fed. We never close. But how do we figure out cost per day? Because we're starting to get inquiries from other counties, DCS. Can we place kids there? Everybody's wanting to use us. And we would like to offset our costs and save the county some money and take some kids when we get staffed, and we're getting close to being able to do that. We don't know how much to charge, how much we can charge. We're trying to figure that out. We don't want to take a bunch of extra kids at a loss. So it's a difficult, complex equation, and we'd love any help anyone can give us on figuring out that dilemma. It's
I wonder if we can't go back to the CTAS folks who are part of the, because they're part of the Boyd Center for Economic, I mean, they could connect with the Boyd Center for Economics.
I mean, it's a tough problem to figure out because of the 9th kid trips an extra staff, but the 7th really only costs more meals and, whatever it costs to clean their uniform. And I just like to make sure that when we do get fully open for business, interfacing with everybody, I'm sure I see 2 representatives from the Department of Children's Services back there. I'm sure they would like for us to take their children immediately. And we would like to help and offset some of that. But we need to know how much to charge, how much can we charge, and I want to make sure we're getting dollar for dollar and not losing money.
Okay, I'll make an inquiry and copy you on that.
Do we know right now what the contract is for our DCS?
It's about 130.
130.
Huh?
187.50.
Oh, 187.50.
That's
Oh, wow.
DCS.
130 for local counties,
For our other counties is 120 a night,
120 a night, yeah.
What was the first number?
187.50.
That's DCS?
Yeah.
And then 120 is other counties?
Yes.
Because we've had inquiries from other counties too, saying, hey, we need you.
Okay, anything else for the board today?
I've got one thing.
Yes, sir.
So, Commissioner Rawls and I were joking around, half joking the other day, and said we didn't know we'd be on national news, 6 months into our term. People call me saying that they heard about this on HBO. But I wanted to just congratulate and thank all of my other fellow commissioners and everybody on this juvenile detention board, because when we started out, there was a lot of disagreement over which direction to go. We were going down the trail route. We've changed our mind, and I thought the best route would be to go to the mayor route. But after listening, thinking about this, and talking with everybody, I have 100% confidence in the direction that we're going. I have 100% confidence in our staff, and I have 100% confidence in our judge to make sure that we're headed in the right direction. That doesn't mean that we're going to be not having any oversight going forward, but I think that this has been a great example of government working well. So,
Thank you.
I would just like to making sure that we're trying to hit everything possible before this board dissolves. Last month, I know we kind of put Corey on the spot, had him come up and speak, and I heard some real urgency and some real desperation in some of the things that he said. So I'd like to hear, with your permission, from you again this month, now that some things have loosened up, about your feelings at the moment and going forward.
He loves to present.
I know.
If you would just give your name for the record.
Corey Gower.
keep it under 45 minutes.
Watch our clock around here somewhere. So thank you guys for clearing up the 6 outliers that are waiting for them to exhaust their time so we could hire behind them. That was really beneficial to us. We had, last commission, I believe we had 11 vacancies, and we filled 5, started yesterday, and we have 6 more starting next week, so our week after next, 23rd. So, but it has been great help. I mean, it just feels like we talk about changing the culture in the facility. That amount of staff coming in, new staff, and with us training them up, it just feels like it's changing the culture. Things are starting to turn in the right direction. The only other thing I can ask is that we get that second nurse.
I knew that was coming.
Well, it's more of a liability thing than anything, but that's very important for us and for safety. So.
Well, I know the health department, one of the things that the mayor really wanted to do was make sure that that second representative, the appointee from the mayor, came from the health department. So you're always going to have somebody on board that is going to be from the health department thinking about how can we perhaps support that.
Yeah, the health department's been a great help too.
And things are on the way.
Thank you guys.
Are you still dealing with a shortage of applicants?
No, we get plenty of applicants. It's just
I know that
there's
a
some
lot of them are.
criteria that's hard to
Yeah.
fill, and then
Specific positions.
and you get them in, and to
Yeah.
hear the bar shut behind them, and they last up 3 days, and that's it, and they get the flu. But that's normal. I mean, that's the normal thing for a facility like that. You're gonna have turnovers constantly, so it's always. But we have plenty of applicants.
Good.
For specific positions. So we didn't have any for like the LPN, but
Yeah,
that's
LPN
but
is
for officers, there's a apply for ID coming in.
The other dire shortage right now, and perhaps I can have Mary Lindsay, is she Mary in here? Have her speak. The sheriff's department has been bailing us out with reserve officers and our transports. We haven't had a transport officer since the 23rd of January. We knew he was gonna retire, we haven't replaced him because we haven't been authorized to replace him yet, but we need a transport officer because just like today, we have a child that's been a difficult child to manage, and this child got a bed at Park Ridge Valley. It's a very good, valuable place to go get treatment. We gotta rush that child there tomorrow, that bed's gone, because they'll give it to somebody else.
So the reserve officers have been sort of filling the gap.
They have, but we need a transport officer, whether it's one of our staff on that side, or it's somebody that's assigned just to do that on call. I don't know, we're working through that. We're getting it done with reserve officers and great cooperation from the sheriff.
And also the sheriff's office medical staff transport has been providing a lot of that coverage as well. So between the reserves and the full-time medical staff that they have, I've had no issue. There's not been any downtime. As soon as I've called, those things have been arranged immediately.
We haven't filled that position either, though. That's the second area of dire need.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there any, oh, I'm sorry.
Is that transport officer a being employee or your employee? Like,
Well, we
It
determined.
will be theirs.
I mean,
Probably, I mean, it's
They
been
were
ours.
our employee, but we're kind of
The last one was ours. But
looking
we're open to it being a
at
detention center
detention
employee.
staff member.
Okay.
So if it was one of your employees and this was not a regularly budgeted position?
No, we had a person that was in the budget for it, a certain number of dollars. He retired, but
Oh,
we
so,
just haven't had one since the 23rd because we can't find one.
oh, because you can't find one, not because there's the.
Right,
Okay.
we've had.
So we approached it in our budget coming up with hiring 4 correctional officers with all of them having the ability to transport, but they would still work inside the facility and cover shifts. And then when a transport came on, of course, one of those 3 that were on shift would take the transport.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we looked at it, and that's how we would have covered it, but.
So
we
you
don't
have
get those
to,
positions.
you have to think about transporting somebody. We had a transport go out yesterday to Jackson, Tennessee, in Madison County, pretty good ways, and it was a female. So we had to have we had a male reserve driver and a female employee from here rode to Jackson and back. So somebody had to cover her work and her cases while she was gone. All her meetings she had set up. So that's tough, but that's what we got right now. And even if Ron was our retired guy, his name Ron, even if he was working, we still had to put a female with him because we would not want a adult male transporting a teenage female, or vice versa, a female transporting a teenage male. We're sensitive to that, trying to be careful. So, but that's a couple of areas of dire need, and we're working through it. And I'm very pleased with everybody. What's the coach at Minnesota say? Everybody rowing the boat together from that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're all rolling in the same direction. They're trying. So I'm very happy with that.
All right, any other new business from the board? Seeing none, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Okay. So moved, we're adjourned.